What is going on, everybody? It's your man Nicolas Bowling from the Nicolas Bowling Show, and I'm back to do another live stream this time. Another episode, but we're live. Been a while since I've done a live stream, so it's nice to be back. I got the new setup here, so hopefully you guys are digging it, and hopefully everything is coming out good on that end. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about, just as the title states, that we're gonna be talking about the impeachment of Joe Biden. So they just had the hearings, the inquiry last week, I think it was. A big brouhaha, and Democrats are saying there's no evidence. The Republicans say that there is evidence. So we're gonna take a look at if there is any evidence. So we're gonna really take a look here. Now, first off, I wanted to jump in this little poll here I found really interesting. So Utah voters, Biden impeachment inquiry political, but justified. So this is a little poll that was done. Yeah, let's see. So the U.S. House of Representatives started impeachment. Do you support or oppose this action? Strongly support, 41%. And only 18% strongly oppose. See, I don't really understand how anyone can oppose this unless you're absolutely blind and just in La La Land, really. Uh, and then the next one is interesting. Do you think the House impeachment inquiry is politically motivated? 58% yes. So that is very interesting. So this is what we're going to be going over. I just wanted to go over that poll a little bit, kind of paints the picture of this. Very interesting stuff. So, yeah. I mean, let me just double check here to make sure that the live stream's all gravy. Our first time streaming with OBS, so. All right, cool. We are good. All right, so, yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. So this is all the evidence going into the impeachment of Joe Biden. Again, you'll hear a lot of Democrats saying there is no evidence. What's his name from the Young Turks? Cenk Uygur was on Patrick Bet David like a month ago or something, or a few weeks ago. I don't know. But he was saying that there is no evidence for this. This is pointless. And he doesn't like Biden. So it's very interesting. So that's what kind of made me start looking into this more. We all know about the laptop. You know, Rudy got the laptop from the guy from the laptop store, the repair shop, I guess you should say. Hunter Biden basically left it, and I mean, just come on, so stupid. And that's obviously real. They don't even say that it's fake. They just call it, oh, that's Russian. That's from Russia. But anyway, we're gonna get right down to it. Go through this long article here. It's really long stuff, good stuff. I read over some of it, skimmed over it, very detailed here. And yeah, we're gonna get into it, breaking down all this stuff together, and see what we got here. Oh, and Cenk was basically saying, I forgot to mention, he was basically saying that not only was there no evidence, but also Hunter never sold access to his father. There was no access. You know, he even said in the messages that he can't give you his father, which is bullshit, because you even just look at him going to that press conference where he was saying, fire the special prosecutor or you're not getting the federal money. That alone is corruption and quid pro quo. I mean, it's just that alone. Even if you say, oh, he was joking, come on, dude, he wasn't freaking joking there. All right, this is from JustFactsDaily.com, which I've never actually heard of. I saw this on the Bongino report on the top, one of the top articles there, so I figured I'd give it a shot and do an episode on this. So, hard evidence, and the link will be down below after the podcast is over. Hard evidence warranting the impeachment of Joe Biden. And this is just published today by James Agresti. Also, full disclosure, if you're new around here, I have OCD, so you're going to be seeing a lot of my tics. Yeah, just ignore it if you can. Okay, overview. In a staggering act of journalistic deception or deceit, excuse me, jeez. The New York Times is reporting that Republicans launched a impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden without any evidence of financial wrongdoing or corruption by the president. Similar statements have been made by a massive array of media outlets and Democratic politicians. This is the article here. And of course, it charges money, which is so stupid. Anyway, we can already imagine what they're gonna say. So, their story is that they're doing this impeachment because they want to distract from the charges for Donald Trump, all the criminal charges and the court cases, which is completely asinine. In reality, overwhelming proof of Joe Biden's corruption and wrongdoing has been found, including hard evidence like written records and corroborating testimony from first-hand witnesses. Collectively, at least 12 sets of documents, documented facts, leave no reasonable doubt that Biden participated in his son's illicit business dealings, bribed foreign officials, and obstructed justice. Obstructed justice is exactly what I was just talking about. Moreover, no less than 3 major defenses of Biden are demonstrably false. Number 1, don't mention Joe Biden. Joe Biden claimed at least 8 times that he had nothing to do with his son Hunter's business dealings, never even spoke to Hunter about them. For example, he told a group of reporters on August 28, 2019, I have never discussed with my son, my brother, or anyone else anything having to do with their businesses, period. God, completely asinine. In May 2017, 2 of Hunter's business partners exchanged several WhatsApp messages about the Biden family involvement in their dealings. And one of the partners wrote to the other, make sure the levels are good here. Wrote to the other, don't mention Joe being involved. Only when you are face to face. I know you know that, but they are paranoid. I know you know that, but I just want to make it super clear. 2, a chairman's role. In 2023, the business partner who was on the receiving end of the Don't Mention Joe message stated, quote, the American people don't fully appreciate yet the key role Joe Biden played in the Biden family global influence peddling. I would equate it to a chairman's role in a traditional business structure, end quote. 3, the big guy, which we all know, hashtag the big guy. That's just hilarious that they was referring to him as the big guy. See, all this, I mean, just goes to show how sleazy they are doing all this. Don't mention him in the text message records because, you know, we don't want a paper trail here. And just, if you mention him, call him the big guy. You know, that's, like, if it was something simple or like maybe just a one-time thing, they wouldn't have all these rules using WhatsApp. You know, that's a encrypted fucking messaging platform that a lot of criminals use, and pedophiles messaging kids, etc. Scammers. You go on WhatsApp right now, you create a new account. Within like a couple minutes, you're gonna have spammers messaging you and oh, click on my webcam, naughty pictures, and all this shit. Nobody downloads that app to do. Usually, people don't use that download that app to do, you know, standard like above board, you know, tasks and shit. In May 2017, the same partner who wrote Don't Mention Joe sent an email to Hunter and 2 of their other partners in which he proposed how the equity of a joint venture with a Chinese energy company named CEFC would be distributed. So these are all, and they got all the fact checks, all the receipts here. We're not going to go through all that. Again, the link will be down below after the podcast ends live. So you can go check these out yourself. But they have the receipts for all of this stuff. This isn't just pie in the sky shit. These are facts. These are actual things that happened, and there is receipts. So the whole this is fabricated or making stuff up, disinformation, fake news doesn't apply. And the most interesting thing is that I was going to say earlier is that they don't even say that the laptop or these leaked excuse me, or these leaked emails or texts are fake. They just say, no, that's not true. There was no dealings or anything. They don't say that. No, that's fake. That's Photoshop. It's hilarious to me. Okay, let's see here. Where were we? He did by listing the initials of the people copied on the email and the numbers that add up to 100%. That says that one says 10 held by H for the big guy. Obviously, a 10%. Probably by Hunter. Obviously, that's H Hunter. Obviously, and the big guy is the top dog, the head cheese. The head motherfucker in charge, which is obviously Joey, old Joey. Crooked Joe. The only person copied on the email with the initials H is Hunter Biden. And a partner who received the email publicly stated that the big guy is quote, in fact, a reference to Joe Biden, end quote. And the email is genuine. That was a quote there. Email is genuine. You know what? Let's go ahead and check this out. Just real quick, I want to show this. I'm not going to go through all the sources, but I believe this is the guy that Tucker interviewed, maybe? Tucker's been on top of this, interviewing a lot of these guys. Hunter biz partner confirms email details Joe Biden's push to make millions from China. Good win. That is something else. All right, let's see. CEFC was not in ordinary business, but an effective arm of the Chinese government. In a 2018 voice recording, Hunter Biden described one of the company's executives who directly paid Hunter $1 million and the quote spy chief of China. Actually, let me see if is there an actual recording here. Stupid advertisements. I hate them. I'm curious to see if there's actually a recording here.
A witness without.
Oh, here we go.
Calls.
I never heard this.
I am receiving calls from the Southern District of New York, from the U.S. Attorney himself. My best friend in business, Devin, has named me as a witness without telling me. I have another New York Times reporter calling about my representation of literally, Dr. Patrick Coe, the spy chief of China. I get calls from my father. I get calls from Natalie, who wants me to buy her mother a $7,500 Mother's Day gift.
What the fuck? Wow. I didn't know there was an actual recording. Damn, that is damning. Wowzers. Okay. Let's get back to it. Man, they are totally fucked, man. They are fucked. Well, you know what? Maybe not, because the GOP is completely spineless. And of course, the Democrats have the Senate, so they can't actually remove him. But maybe that changes in 2024. We will see. Typically, it goes back and forth. Like, we'll win the presidency, we being the GOP, and then we'll win the Senate, and then the House somehow magically will go to the fucking Democrats. Somehow magically, rather, we'll get the GOP controlled all branches of government except obviously the judicial, but the Congress and the White House would be amazing. But also, just because they have an R next to the name doesn't mean that they're actually going to do anything. Kevin McCarthy's out now, which is good. Shout out to Matt Gaetz and Steve Scalise. Looks like he's going to be the next speaker, which is great. I really like Scalise. He's a guy that got shot. Basically, how everyone started to know him. He came into the forefront because he got shot. Hunting Republicans. 4. Sitting here with my father. On July 30th, 2017, Hunter Biden sent a threatening WhatsApp message to a CEFC executive stating, quote, "I am sitting here with my father." This one is insane. I believe this is the one that was read in Congress. Stata zit. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, is this it? I'm sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the commitment was not, commitment made has not been fulfilled. This is very interesting. They read this. I forgot who read it, but it was damning. Tell the director that I would like to resolve this now before it gets out of hand, and now means tonight. If I get a call or text from anyone involved in this other than you, the chairman, or any other executive named Zhang, I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows, and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. That is insane. That is like some threatening next level Wolf of Wall Street shit right there, boy. Woo! And that just goes to show, again, he wasn't just propping his father up. Like, oh yeah, I got my dad's a VP at this time. He's a vice president. He wasn't just doing that. He was actually saying, if you don't do what I want, what I'm asking you to do, not only will I and everyone I know make your life a living hell, but my dad will too. So I have my dad on the string. So if you fuck me over, you're not just fucking me over, you're fucking over the vice president. And obviously, Obama, probably would have done whatever Biden wanted. As to, it goes to show, proof of that is him saying he's going to withhold the financial aid to the state, the country, and basically saying, if you don't drop these charges, or special investigator looking into my son, you're not getting this money. Of course, you can't do that if you don't have the capabilities of doing that. If you don't have the president, wrapped around your finger, and basically you speak for the president. And he even says, I believe in that video, the guy says, "Oh, you can't do that." He says, "Oh yeah, call Barack." I believe it's call Obama or some shit like that. So I mean, this is some bad shit here. I'm sitting here waiting for the call with my father. Do what I want, or else. 4 photographs prove that Hunter was at Joe's house that day and took Joe's cherished Corvette out for a spin. Let me see these photos here. Oh shit! See, this is what I'm saying, man. There's no. How do they get out of this? Look at that. The geotagging right there. The metadata. Woo! Got him dead to rights, man. Not good, Joey or Hunty. 1 week later, on August 8th, a major corporate shareholder of CEFC wired $5 million to a company named Hudson West III, which had a bank account balance of 0 just 5 days earlier. The company then funneled more than $4 million to companies associated with Hunter. Wow. That sounds like laundering money there. His brother, 2.5 weeks after that $5 million wire, Hunter texted a CEFC executive about a meeting at New York City penthouse recently purchased by the chairman of CEFC. Quote, my uncle will be here with his his uncle will be here with his brother, all caps. Who do you think that is? Wink, wink. Who would like to say hello to the chairman. The uncle was Jim Biden, who made $65,000 per month on his deal. The brother was undoubtedly Joe Biden, as evidenced by Hunter's use of all caps. Wow, read between the lines. My brother, his brother, wink, wink. Oh, man. And this also just goes to show that they feel they are untouchable. They were semi-careful without saying, my dad, Joe, is going to be here and he'll be able to do this. He's the VP, this and that. But the fact that they were so secretive with it on certain things, but yet they were doing this with a paper trail instead of, I don't know if you ever seen The Wire. The Wire is one of my favorite shows. I recently just rewatched that, and they were so careful. They didn't even touch cell phones, and when they did, they sent codes with fucking latitude and longitude, whatever, on the map. You know how you can pinpoint GPS coordinates, where to meet, and then they would talk face to face in the middle of like an open area so that there's nobody around eavesdropping, no cameras or anything. But these guys are like, yeah, I mean, we won't say it outright, but fuck it, we're just gonna talk openly about this shit. Unless you do this, my father's right here, and you're gonna be sorry. All this, I mean, it shows that they think, and this proves it, that there's two tiers of justice in this country, and that they are too big to fail, basically. They're too big to prosecute, I guess would be the better phrase. Just like Hillary Clinton. They didn't give a fuck. She got subpoenaed for her records. Hammered the phones. Hey, turn those over. Hammered the phones. Turn over the documents and the hard drives. Bleach bait everything. and why not? Can you blame her? Nothing happened. I mean... And honestly, this breaks my heart, and it's so frustrating. Nothing's going to happen with this either. The only thing that's going to possibly happen is in the Court of Public Appeal. In the public, basically. If the public wants to do something about this, and I don't mean physically or threatening or anything like that. I'm talking about voting people out. And making sure that there is no shenanigans or voter fraud and all this sort of crap, election fraud in the coming election. Don't allow them to put boards up against the window and all that sort of shit like we saw in 2020. Ridiculous. People bringing van loads and the van's here. Bringing in fucking coolers and full of paper and boxes and shit. That happened because we let that happen. You can't blame them. Yeah, they're scumbags, but I mean, come on. They got away with it, And in fact, they're prosecuting Trump for saying, hey, look, that was fraud right there. You literally see fraud happening in front of you. Look, that's fraud. You can't say that you're trying to overthrow an election. Excuse me. I mean, it's insane. But the only way we're going to make these people pay for their crimes is if we stand up and even run for office, because voting people like Mitch McConnell and shit isn't gonna do it. Do your research on these candidates, man. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm going on a big tangent here. Anyway, get back to it. Excuse me. The Russian disinformation lie. This is exactly what I was talking about. 1 week after the contents of Hunter's laptop became public in October 2020, Joe Biden and Trump had their last debate of 2020 presidential election. During this nationally televised event, aired by all major networks, Biden claimed he had a reputation for, quote, honor in telling the truth, end quote. Trump responded by pointing out Hunter's laptop, and Biden replied, and this is a quote, there are 50 former national intelligence folks. folks. He talks so annoying. Listen here. Oh, yeah. That's corn pop. Yeah, folks. Like he's just some good old boy. I'm an everyman talking about that. There are 50 former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plant. My God, it's so funny. Anytime I hear Russia, it's hilarious. They have, there's still people saying that Trump was a Russian agent and that 2020 election was, 2016 election, Putin, Russian hacked our election and all that shit. They interfered in the election. It's hilarious. Adam Schiff is one of those, even though everything's been proven wrong. They have said that this has all the four or five former heads of the CIA, both parties, say what he's saying is a bunch of garbage. Nobody believes it except him and his good friends. Good friend, Rudy Giuliani. Oh man, here's his laptop right here. Oh, no, you're not seeing what you're seeing. Trump responded, "You mean the laptop is now another Russia hoax? You gotta be. Is that where you're going? You gotta be. Is this where you're going?" Biden shot back. That's exactly what was told. That was exactly what was told. What the fuck? That makes no sense. I don't know if. So he said Trump responded, and then it says Biden. So I guess Biden said that. That doesn't make any sense. That's exactly what was told. Doesn't mean what I was told. The fuck? That isn't even close to what the intelligence officials said. Even if they did, who gives a shit? After Russia, I mean, everyone is discredited. I mean, what? Come on now. More importantly, Jesus, the contents of the laptop have been widely verified as authentic, and evidence of this was clear from the start. Yeah, I don't think anyone really doubts that the laptop is real. Even if Hunter lied to his father, Joe knew right away that incriminating information from the laptop was real because he personally participated in it. For example, the very first article about the laptop exposed an email that showed Joe met with one of Hunter's business partners in April 2015. Despite multiple emails from the laptop proving the meeting happened, the Biden campaign and numerous media outlets cast doubt on this fact until a photo and testimony from one of the attendees confirmed it occurred. See here. Joe was a regular at DC Hotspot where he met Hunter's Kazakh associates. Oh yeah, I've seen this one before. Boy, it looks just like Saddam Hussein over there. The fuck? Alright. Let's see, where were we? Furthermore, the Intel officials didn't allege that the contents of the laptop were fake. Instead, they claimed that the release of the content has the classic earmarks of Russian disinformation, end quote, while admitting that we do not have the evidence of Russia involvement, just that our experience makes us deeply suspicious that the Russian government played a significant role in this case. See that? I mean, that just goes to show right there. I mean, it's very clear they have a bias. So there's no proof of Russian involvement here. None. Zero. But we just feel like there's Russia ties to this. That Russia had something to do with this. There's no evidence, but I just feel it. What? That's the problem, man. Like, if somebody's cheating on you, you say, I just feel it. It's going with my gut. There's nothing wrong with that, going with your gut. But these are intelligence officials. I mean, we're talking about major people here, like top tier people. Just by saying, well, this just feels like Russian disinformation. That is like huge. A lot of things are affected by that. So just going by your gut or a hunch, you shouldn't be doing that shit. Stick to the facts, man. It's insane. That's a far cry from Biden's assertion that the laptop was a bunch of garbage and nobody believes it. Yeah, totally. Even though Biden blatantly misrepresented on national television what these intel officials wrote, not one of them publicly corrected them. Of course they didn't. Nor did they correct the gaggle of major media outlets and so-called fact checkers who changed the phrase Russian information to Russian disinformation. What's the difference there? Oh, Russian information. Okay, gotcha. The fuck? It's like the CDC changing the definition of herd immunity. The Big Jab COVID documentary I'm working on will be out this month. Go check out thebigjabmovie.com. More information. Get it early on Patreon. In short, the intel officials never had any evidence of Russian involvement and stayed silent as the words were twisted by Biden and the media. See, again, instead of being clear and sticking to the facts, you say, well, it feels like Russian disinformation, and then other people start twisting those words and playing the telephone game. Well, they said it was Russian disinformation when really said they just feel like it. So, it's just, it's ridiculous. You should not be going with your gut on that. Anyway, I digress. This reeks of concerted and widespread disinformation campaign to hide the truth about Biden and from the American people. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So does that fact that form that read weird. So does the fact that former acting CIA director Mike Morrell admitted under oath that he asked his fellow intel officials to sign the Russian information statement at the prompting of Antony Blinken, who is now Biden's Secretary of State, because, quote, I want him, Biden, to win the election, end quote. Wow. Sign this because I want him to win the election. Woo. Well, there you go. That's just proof right there. That was the CIA director weighing in, basically publicly. Everything in the government is public information. You're able to get basically all that shit. So publicly stating, I want him to win. That right there, that's case closed. What? Now, it's amazing. They're not even hiding this shit anymore. That's the blows my mind. Back in 2000 and 2001 or 9/11, they were trying to hide the shit. They were trying to hide the shit, but we saw through it. But nowadays they're just like, fuck it, nothing's gonna happen. And that should piss everybody off. My guy, in March 2014, while Joe Biden was vice president of the U.S. and acting as President Obama's point man in Ukraine, Hunter and one of his business partners began courting businesses from a major Ukrainian natural gas producer named Burisma. We've all heard that before. All heard that name before. In an email to Hunter on March 6th, the partner wrote, Do some fishing around on this company. I am the owner. I am with the owner in meetings today and going to dinner together this evening. He's obviously stressed, but appears incredibly legit and great guy. We'll call to debrief on opportunity. That obviously stressed, great guy was Nikolai Zolchevsky, a notoriously corrupt oligarch who was under investigation by Ukrainian authorities and was on the verge of having his London bank account seized by British officials in a money laundering probe. There he is there. All right. Keep going here. Not even halfway. There's just mountains of evidence. Hunter and his partner were granted access to Burisma's corporate data within days and shared a briefing about the company on March 18th. Less than a month later, on April 12th, the White House announced that Vice President Biden will travel to Ukraine for meetings with government leaders and members of civil society. Just 10 days later. Wow. On the day after the announcement, Hunter sent an email to his partner claiming that Burisma needs to know that we will not and cannot intervene directly with domestic policymakers, but that Hunter convinced my guy, obviously Joe, to visit Ukraine. Wow, look at this shit. So they're going there to meet with government officials and civil leaders. But really, Hunter set up this whole situation for old Joey to go to Ukraine and meet with these guys at Burisma. Goodness gracious. This is insane. Wow. To visit Ukraine, and he might do a really good thing for Burisma. Hunter also wrote that this business deal could easily become very complicated, and made plans to communicate secretly via phones not linked to their names per this email. The announcement of my guys, God, that's so funny. Upcoming travels should be characterized as part of our advice and thinking. What we will say and do is out of our hands. What he will say and do is out of our hands. In other words, it could be a really good thing, or it could end up creating too great an expectation. We need to temper expectations regarding that visit. Don't get their hopes up too much. Could be really good, or it could be really, really bad. The contract should begin now, not after the upcoming visit of my guy. So, again, this is so obvious. My guy is going to Ukraine, and what do you know? Joe Biden's going there to meet with civil leaders and government people. Wow, could they make this any more obvious? Good night. We need to ask for long-term agreement and across-the-board participation. This is a huge step for us that could easily become very complicated. Meaning we're taking all the risk. Buy a cell phone from 7-Eleven or CVS tomorrow, and I'll do the same. See, again, man, it's just... They knew what they were doing was illegal. So the whole thing of, Hillary, that the FBI gave Hillary, whatever the freaking guy's name is. I forgot the FBI director's name. Jim Comey. James Comey saying, well, she didn't know it was illegal or whatever. That doesn't apply here because it's very obvious they're trying to cover the tracks. 2 days later, on April 15th, Burisma began making a series of payments totaling at least $3.3 million to a Delaware corporation that gave $708,000 directly to Hunter. and $2.5 million to at least 6 different entities associated with Hunter. And he was just raking it in, boy. When Joe Biden visited Ukraine 1 week later on April 22nd, he did a really good thing for Burisma by publicly promising Ukraine legislators that the U.S. would help the nation pursue energy security, end quote. This was a clear benefit to Burisma, which was the largest private natural gas producer in Ukraine. So they produce this natural gas. Biden's going to go and try to push the U.S. to start using natural gas. Goodness gracious. The informants report in June 2020, 4 months before any information about Hunter's laptop became public, an informant reported to the FBI that he had multiple conversations with Chalevsky in 2015 to 2019 and Zolchevsky said the following. The nation's chief prosecutor, Viktor Shokin, was conducting an investigation that would have substantial negative impact on his business, but Hunter will take care of all of those issues through his dad. He saved recordings and documents that proved he was coerced into paying the Bidens to ensure the Ukraine prosecutor general, Viktor Shokin, was fired. This is what I was talking about at the beginning. It cost $5 million to pay one Biden, $5 million to pay another Biden. He, quote, did not send any funds directly to the big guy, and therefore it will take investigators 10 years to find the illicit payments to Joe Biden. He didn't send it directly, but he sent it through all these middlemen so that it was basically impossible to track payments. Basically like laundering money, you know, it's just goes through so many hands and it comes out clean to you. It is also the first of 3 independent sources that showed Joe Biden had Shokin fired to protect the CEO of Burisma, which was paying Hunter $1 million per year. Yeah, this is probably exactly.
We're going over convincing our team or others to convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over for, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, I'm not going to, or we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who.
And everyone's laughing. It's so funny. You're abusing your power.
Was solid.
Oh, quid pro quo. You're protecting your son who's a criminal. You're breaking a law. Oh my gosh, bro. What is wrong? I wonder who was in there. If that was the press or if that was spectator, just anybody, like random people, or if it was actual elites, but I mean, nobody stood up and said, wait, what? Even the interviewers like, wait, I'm sorry, wait, what? Say that again? Oh, man. All right, where were we here? 9. The prosecutor's testimony. In September 2019, Shokin signed a sworn affidavit stating, quote, the truth is that I was forced out because I was leading a wide-ranging corruption probe into Burisma Holdings, a natural gas firm active in Ukraine, and Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, was a member of the board of directors. Even though, just again, I want to make this clear, even though he had no experience in that at all. I mean, he knows nothing about natural gas or anything. here, I'm going to give you a board of directors gig that makes like $1 million a year or whatever. I think it was like 100,000, some 80 grand a month or something. I forget. If that doesn't send red flags, I mean, you got blinders on. The president of Ukraine was wow, I'm struggling here. Was empathic. The fuck is that? Am I crazy here?
Emphatic.
Wow, that just like I just had a stroke. The president of Ukraine was emphatic that I should cease my investigation regarding Burisma when I did not. He said that the U.S., via Biden, were refusing to release the 1 million USD, 1 billion USD promise to Ukraine. He said that he had no choice, therefore, but to ask me to resign. And this is a sworn affidavit here. This whole thing of, oh, he was just joking about that on the stage. He was joking. This is a sworn affidavit. You lie in an affidavit, you're going to prison. That's fucking perjury, dude. So this is legit shit here, man. Stop giving this man excuses. And I know anyone subscribed to me or watching this is probably not giving Biden excuses, but I'm just saying, those that are giving this man excuses, freaking stop, man. Good night. This guy shouldn't even be polling he should be polling at 0 for re-election. He shouldn't even be running for re-election. He should be in jail, in prison, for Christ's sake. Corroborating Shokin's testimony, his office obtained a court order to seize some of, I'm just going to call them Zolchki's properties, including his land, house, and Rolls-Royce Phantom, only 2 weeks before he was forced to resign. Wow. We're seizing your shit unless you drop these freaking charges and investigation into my son and his company. Whew. White House phone logs show that Joe Biden talked to the president of Ukraine at least 3 times in the weeks surrounding Shokin's dismissal. Phone log for the last of these calls states that Biden commended President Poroshenko's decision to replace Prosecutor General Shokin, which paves the way for the needed reform of the prosecutorial service. Wow. Oh my God, interfering like crazy. Holy crap. Contrary to the Biden's claim that the prosecutor stood in the way of the reform, the president of Ukraine complimented Shokin for implementing reforms that his predecessors had, quote, been opposing for decades, end quote, and then listed the specific reforms. The president then said that he only asked Shokin to resign because he, quote, failed to gain society's trust, end quote. Yeah, okay, sure. Sure thing, buddy. Half his salary to Pop. In a January, have you called your dad Pop? I've never called my dad that in the history of my life. Who says, hey, Pop? Pops? Maybe it's like a New York thing or something, I don't know. In a January 2019 text, Hunter Biden wrote to his daughter that she needs to, quote, figure out how you can support yourself. I never give you another dime again. She needs to, quote, figure out how you can support yourself. I never give you, I guess it should be if I never give you another dime again. If you want to go to Pops, that's fine. Typos in the original. Okay. So I guess that was from Hunter to his sister. Oh, no, to his daughter. I'm sorry. It says right there, his daughter. Holy shit. So I guess he's saying Pop is grandpa? So Joe? No, it's weird. What kind of a scumbag talks to his daughter like that? Good night. I hope you all can do what I did, pay for everything for this entire family for 30 years. Really hard. But don't worry, unlike Pop, I won't make you give me half of your salary. Typos in the original. Oh my God. That's hilarious. Holy shit. He's like legitimately crazy. Wonder if he was on coke and meth and shit. Did he do meth? I don't remember. No, he did coke for sure. Other documents on Hunter's laptop prove that Joe's children, grandchildren, wife, and daughter-in-law also called him Pop. So did Joe's assistant when communicating with the family. Holy shit, just stacking. Oh my god, just stacking the shit pile. And this constitutes direct evidence that Joe demanded that he and received a share of Hunter's dealings. Oh, wow. This is crazy. I'm reading this and I already knew basically all this, but this is just still like having it all laid out like this. It's just blowing my mind. Epitomizing the depths of denial about this issue, the Washington Post's Philip Bump recently alleged in an interview there was, quote, no evidence that Joe Biden acted on Hunter Biden's behalf or that Joe Biden took money, end quote. Whether the interviewer confronted Bump with the text of Hunter saying he gave half his income to his dad, Bump claimed, I have no idea what that means, became highly defensive and ended the interview. Oh, holy shit. I don't know what that means. Fuck you. What it means exactly what he just said. Hunter gave half his income to his dad. I don't know what that means. What do you mean you don't know what that means? What? Regardless of whether Joe received any money from Hunter's dealings, using the power of his office to illicitly enrich his family is still classic corruption. Regardless of whether, sorry, I misread that. Joe's aliases. This is pretty funny here. He has all these emails. Documents from Hunter's laptop reveal that Joe had several email aliases, such as Peter Henderson, 67 Stingray, probably his Corvette, Stingray Corvette, at gmx.com. I wonder who these. Oh, did he just randomly make up these names, or is there some sort of meaning? They probably have some sort of meaning, like a movie or some shit. A book he read or something. Robin Ware, childhood friend maybe. Robin Ware 456 at Gmail. Robert L. Peters, Robert dot blah blah blah. The last of those addresses was a government account, as evidenced by the domain ECI.gov. That's a good point there. On June 7, 2015, Kathy Chung, government paid assistant of then Vice President Biden, sent an email to Joe's government email alias and to Hunter with the subject line, see below, these are all cell numbers. The email sent to Robert L. Peters, blah, 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 and Hunter, or H. Biden, blah, 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 contained the cell phone numbers of 25 high-level current and former government officials that wielded an enormous amount of power, such as Hillary. Wow, it's surprising to see her. Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi, Joe Manchin, Loretta Lynch. What do you know? I guess Joe Manchin, maybe I wouldn't figure he's in there, but looks like everyone else is the usual suspects. That's basically every branch of government too. Look at that. They got the House, they got the Senate, they got Judicial and the Attorney General, Secretary of State. Yes. Everyone was in on this shit. Every branch of government. Given that Chung was a federal employee who worked directly for VP Biden, there can be little doubt that Joe ordered her to give this information to Hunter. The fact that Chung sent this email to Joe's government alias strongly suggests that she wanted him to know she did what he asked about without leaving an obvious record of it. The goldmine of influential contacts was given Hunter while he was being paid by Burisma to lobby U.S. officials to protect Zivchevsky from the law and detailed below. 12. The smoking gun. This is all smoking gun. The most damning evidence of Joe Biden's criminality is widely ignored email exchange. Oh, widely ignored email exchange. Okay, something maybe we didn't hear about. Which proves beyond a reasonable doubt that he engaged in bribery and obstructing justice. In 2015, November 2015, 7 months after Hunter and Joe dined with Burisma executive at a restaurant near the White House. Again, like this shit is just so obvious. Let's go to a restaurant right next to the White House. Like, what? The same executive sent an email to Hunter and his partners in which he told them to proceed immediately with getting high-ranking U.S. officials to visit Ukraine and convince the highest level of decision-makers to close down all case pursuits against Nikolai. Joldskivskabla, and formal first name. Okay, reminding them that closing down these criminal cases was the true purpose and the ultimate purpose of their engagement in all our joint efforts. Identifying the president of Ukraine and the prosecutor general as two of their key targets. They're trying to expose corruption. They are targets. Goodness. Criticized a proposal that they had sent to him because it was lacking concrete, tangible results that we set out to achieve in the first place, and did not offer any names of top U.S. officials or Ukraine officials to help Nikolai improve his situation in Ukraine. Hunter's partners discussed the email among themselves and plotted how to close the deal, writing, Hunter, you need to tell Burisma that we deliberately... There's some typos in this article. What? Deliberately didn't mention the names of the officials who end these criminal cases. Be on the safe and cautious side. Cover your ass. We're not doing anything wrong, though, but, just in case. Hunter then replied to Burisma, looking forward to getting started on this, and Joe proceeded to do precisely what the email stated verbatim. 8 days later, or almost immediately, after Hunter wrote that he was getting started, the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine announced that Vice President Biden will visit Ukraine within a month. During Biden's trip in early December, he attacked the key targets named by Burisma, including the highest level of decision makers in Ukraine and the prosecutor general. In Biden's own words, he told Ukraine's president and prime minister that he would withhold a U.S. billion-dollar loan guarantee unless the state prosecutor was fired. If the prosecutor is not fired, Biden warned, you are not getting the money. So I'm going to skip over this because we already did all that. I already knew all that shit. That's the video we just read or listened to. Some claim that Joe Biden had nothing to do. Defense number one. This is basically people defending what they might say. Blue Star strategies. Some have claimed that Joe Biden had nothing to do with the smoking gun emails because Hunter wrote to Burisma that public relations firm called Blue Star Strategies would deliver what Burisma wanted. That was an obvious smokescreen and part of their agreement to not mention Joe, as proven by the following facts. So basically, he was saying that he wasn't telling Joe to do this stuff, visit and target these people, but rather he was telling Blue Star Strategies. That's how it happened. That's why it happened. Which is, of course, bullshit. Again, they're trying to send these little things out, do these little things so that later on they could say, well, no, that's not what that was about. This is what that was about. Thinking ahead, showing that they knew that this was wrong, illegal, shouldn't be doing it. When Hunter and his partners wrote to each other about how they would end the cases against Joldskivsky, they said nothing about Blue Star. Instead, they said it would be handled by officials whose name they deliberately didn't mention to be on the safe and cautious side. Furthermore, they said that Hunter needed to deliver that message to Burisma in order to close this deal. You know what I find so fascinating? Is that all the stuff that they did, honestly, could have pretty easily been done secretively. Thank God they're stupid and didn't do it, properly. I mean, if they just met in person and were a little bit more careful with shit, we would have never known any of this and didn't turn in his fucking laptop. Sign over that, if we don't pay and it's not picked up within this time frame, they forfeit it. I mean, come on, dude. He very obviously was just high out of his mind on drugs. Because nobody's this stupid to do this massively illegal stuff and then just leave their fucking laptop. And for those who don't know, anyone using an iPad, and if you have like an iPhone or an iPad, all that stuff syncs to each other. So you could send text from your phone number from your iPad through iMessage, and obviously the iCloud, all that stuff is synced. So if you have a Mac, which is what was left at the laptop store, all of the shadows and receipts of all that stuff, copies of it, is going to be on that laptop. That's how that works, and this is how all this stuff basically came out. In the same exchange, the Burisma executive wrote, "We should disregard the wording of the Blue Star proposal if Hunter and company feel comfortable that they will deliver what in real terms we are talking about." Blue Star didn't carry out Burisma's instructions. Joe Biden did. Defense 2, Shokin was investigating Burisma. Another demonstrably false defense of Joe Biden is that Shokin wasn't even investigating Chevsky when Biden demanded his removal. This is disproven by the court order obtained by Shokin's office to seize Tchaikovsky's land and houses 2 weeks before Shokin was forced to resign. After spreading the Shokin wasn't investigating falsehood far and wide, journalists have changed it to the far weaker claim that Shokin wasn't prosecuting Tchaikovsky aggressively enough for his firing to benefit Tchaikovsky. Oh my God! Just listen to that statement. So he wasn't aggressively going after him. So him being fired didn't benefit the guy he was investigating. Wait, what? Even if it wasn't aggressive, he's investigating him. Even if it's half-assed, if he gets fired, that's obviously going to benefit the person he was investigating. Give me a break. Golly. For a prime example of this shift, the Washington Post lead fact checker reported in 2019 that Shokin was not investigating Burisma at this time. 2023 that Shokin failed to act aggressively against Tchaikovsky. Wow. Both of these arguments are belied by the email Burisma sent to Hunter 1 month before Joe demanded the firing of Shokin. Again, the Burisma executive told Hunter and company to proceed immediately with getting high-risk U.S. officials to visit Ukraine and convince the highest level of decision-makers to close down all cases pursued against Tchaikovsky while identifying the prosecutor general as one of their key targets. Yeah, I mean, it's all laid out in the friggin' emails. If the prosecutor general, i.e. Shokin, wasn't creating a problem for Tchaikovsky, there would be no need for Burisma to send that email demanding immediate action from Hunter. Independently confirming the evidence from Hunter's laptop, an informant reported to the FBI that Tchaikovsky directly told him that Shokin's investigation, quote, would have substantial negative impact, end quote, on his business. But Hunter, quote, will take care of all of those issues through his dad, end quote. Again, this was documented in writing months before any of the contents of Hunter's laptop became public. Got a while to go here. I'm going to try to speed it up here. There's just so much shit. Defense 3. Everyone wanted Shokin gone. A common refrain of the media is that everyone wanted to get rid of Shokin, and Biden was simply carrying out their wishes. For example, the Wall Street Journal reported that Anders Osland, from Workaholics, Workaholics fan, shout out to you, a senior fellow at Atlantic Council in Washington, D.C., said everyone in the Western community wanted Shokin sacked, and the spokesman for this was Joe Biden. The Financial Times reported in 2019 that unnamed advisor to the Ukrainian government said everyone was pushing for Shokin's recognition, not just Biden. Rolling Stone reported in 2019 pretty much everyone recognized Shokin had to go. Washington Post in 2019 that Pavlo Kimlet, the Ukrainian foreign minister from 2014 to 2019, said that the firing of Shokin was universally urged by Ukraine benefactors. Even if all that was true, Joe Biden still pressured him to be fired. And Joe Biden's son worked for the company that guy was investigating. So regardless if everybody and their mother wanted him gone, Joe Biden specifically had him fired. And that's on record. Like, this I'm not saying this article, but these arguments make no sense. There is no argument here. Everyone wanted him fired, but at the end of the day, Joe Biden actually pressured him to be fired. So what? I don't understand. What does that have to do with anything? That everyone wanted him fired. Demolishing those unsupported claims. Oh, sorry, I forgot this. Beyond that fact that Burisma funded the Atlantic Council. Oh, wow, look at that. Wow, Burisma funded the Atlantic Council. One of the places that they were just talking about. Holy crap. Okay, Hunter's Blue Star Associates were on the Atlantic Council, and Klimkin was terrified of losing U.S. support for Ukraine. All of those claims were made 4 years after Biden demanded Shokin's removal. Demolishing those unsupported claims from questionable sources, there is a written record of praise for Shokin in his office around this time when Biden demanded his firing. Wait, I thought they were saying everyone wanted fired. In August of 2015, less than 4 months before Biden demanded the firing of Shokin, the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace published a rigorous assessment of the extent and quality of reforms in Ukraine by an independent team of Ukraine-based scholars. They reported, quote, Ukraine has adopted a package of laws, blah, blah, blah. The General Prosecutor Office has been the agency most active in this agenda. They're just saying basically there was a bunch of people praising him. 2015, okay, blah, blah, blah. We get the idea. The progress noted in the fifth report. Anti-corruption policies, particularly legislative and institutional progress. Appointed the head of special. Okay, we get all that. The only written record of people condemning Shokin around the time when Biden called for his removal were Biden underlings and political allies. Moreover, the loudest of them had a history of backroom dealings and double talk. Isn't that every politician? This included Jeffrey Pyatt, who was appointed by President Obama in 2013 to be the State Department's ambassador to Ukraine. Sorry, guys. My OCD is driving me nuts tonight. Was appointed by President Biden in 2022 to be the Assistant Secretary of State for Energy Resources. Okay, they just go on and on naming all that. Another one was Victoria Nuland, who was Hillary Clinton's State Department spokesperson, was appointed by Obama. Daria Kalanick is a member of the World Economic Forum, of course. Okay, I get that. Most importantly, the Biden camp criticism of Shokin occurred after Hunter and company began lobbying the State Department to protect Burisma while cloaking their actions with the attorney-client privilege. This is proven by following emails exchanged 1 month after Burisma began paying Hunter. On May 12th, 2014, a Burisma executive wrote to Hunter, "We urgently need your advice on how you could use your influence to convey a message, last signal, etc., to stop what we consider a politically motivated actions against NZ, which is Nicolas Bowling, by a party represented in the government by the general prosecutor and other person." One day later, an attorney at the law firm where Hunter worked, I guess Hunter's a lawyer too, I didn't realize that, instructed the Burisma executive to email her directly with all communications related to the current politically motivated attacks and include in the subject line of the email attorney-client communication, privileged and confidential. Oh, wow. As I have done above, this will protect as confident as communications such as about such important and sensitive issues. Again, planning ahead. These emails ever got out, we're covered. But what you hiding there? The attorney also wrote that Burisma executive, "I recommend that you authorize me to take the following actions to begin communicating on your company's behalf with the U.S. government." The actions she offered to take included these and others in the same vein. Quote, "Contact the Bureau of Energy and Ukraine desk officials at the State Department to introduce them to your company and explain the current situation, which will include the issues you emailed me about today. Reach out to Carlos Pascual, top U.S. energy diplomat who is special envoy and coordinate the energy affairs. Engage, quote, a key U.S. registered lobbyist, end quote, named David Later, who was Secretary of State, John Kerry, Chief of Staff when Kerry was in the U.S. Senate. Importantly, the State Department never called for the resignation of Biden's solid prosecutor who dropped all criminal charges against Shovke, even though he was convicted and imprisoned for embezzlement, abuse of office, and illegal surveillance before he was even appointed chief prosecutor. Was forced to resign by the current president of Ukraine for failing to prosecute anyone of note during the 3-year tenure. All right, my bad, guys. Sorry, I'm trying to get through this with all these freaking ticks. I'm sorry. In short, Hunter Biden launched an effort to protect Zholkivsky by lobbying Joe's political allies and subordinates, especially those in the State Department. These efforts failed to stop Shokin, so Burisma grew impatient and told Hunter to act immediately. Hunter then enlisted Joe, who did exactly what Burisma directed. "You're not moving fast enough. Get your dad on this." Conclusion: the U.S. Constitution states that the president shall be removed from office on impeachment or an conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. You know, that whole "or other high crimes and misdemeanors" is just like a catch-all. Like, no matter what, everything that you can imagine can fall under those, high crimes and misdemeanors. That's how they got Trump. It wasn't, whatever. I'm not going to get into Trump right now. At least 12 sets of documented facts prove that Joe Biden engaged in actions that accord with textbook definitions of bribery, extortion, abuse of power. Yeah, these are all clickable links to the dictionary. And obstruction of justice. Furthermore, no less than 3 major defenses of Joe Biden are littered with half-truths and outright falsehoods. I don't understand what that means. No less than 3 major defenses. What? All defenses, you mean? Because Biden's illicit dealings involved foreign corporations and governments like China and Ukraine, he is vulnerable to international blackmail. Given that he is now the president of the most powerful nation in the world, this poses a serious danger to Americans and all of humanity. No comment. This was great, man. This was really, really good. Surprised there's no comments here. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, that was great stuff. I mean, great article. Again, if you want to check it out. And I love how they have all these sources. You want to go check out those sources. Again, we just didn't really have time to go through all the sources. But all this stuff is facts. You know, I mean, we've heard it all before. All this stuff, basically, you probably already knew, just like me. But the thing is, to have it all laid out like this and all presented so nicely and organized is very nice. So check out that. Shout out to this guy who wrote it, James Agresti. Shout out to you, my friend, justfactsdaily.com. That's actually a great name for a website. I'm kind of mad that I didn't think of that myself. RealNSE.com, RealNewsSportsEntertainment.com. You know, and it's not bad. That's not bad. Anyway, guys, that's it. We've been going for a while now, like over an hour. I don't even know how long it's been. But yeah, that's it. My OCD tics are driving me fucking insane. I'm sorry if that was distracting for you. But I wanted to really lay this stuff out because I'm so tired of hearing people say there is no grounds for impeachment. There's no proof or anything. Here's the proof. Send people this damn video, or at least this article, you know, to the people that say there's no proof. I'm going to send the shit to Chunk Yogurt of the Young Turds. Yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you so much. Again, real quick, want to mention a few things. RealNSE.com. I've been not writing as many articles right now because I've been working on my documentary, The Big Jab. Go to thebigjabmovie.com. Support on Patreon. Links all that stuff, or subscribe stars down below. Sign up for the mailing list. Subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Also, W.GG. Go to W.GG if you want to check out the new energy company that I am partnered with. And I have tried, not only am I a partner, sponsor, but I am also a customer. I love this stuff. I'm getting a big tub of it I ordered. Get 10% off using a promo code Nicolas Bowling, Nicolas Bowling, no space, 10% off. Basically, this is the new G Fuel. Fuck G Fuel. This is the good shit. They got all sorts of flavors. Really good stuff. It raises your energy without crashing. Really good stuff. I'm on it right now. Mixes perfectly with water. Doesn't come out chunky or anything like that. Really good stuff. Go to W.GG. Use the promo code Nicolas Bowling, no spaces, for 10% off. Try this stuff, man. Good stuff. First official sponsor of the show, and I appreciate that. Shout out to them. The CEO is a good guy. And that's about it, guys. Thank you so much for checking out the podcast.